We're gonna ride the zip line. You see that tree house over there? See that tree house behind me? We're going over there. Yes, we're going over there right now. What's up, everyone? In a minute, I'm gonna be headed out to catch a flight to head out to Springdale, Washington, and also Spokane in Idaho. It's gonna be an exciting trip. I'm gonna meet a lot of friends there. We're gonna enjoy the time, 10 days, just traveling around from place to place. So I wanna encourage you, subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't done so already. I wanna thank you for watching this particular video. I got a flight to catch.
Good morning, good morning. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome aboard your United Express flight number.
Hopefully we can take off and make it to our destination in time. I've been delayed 5 hours. Just 5 hours. Not that bad. Just 5 hours. Not bad.
Welcome aboard.
All right, so I just arrived in Spokane, Washington. I'm headed now to get the rent-a-car. All right, what's up, everyone? Right now, currently, I am traveling to Usk. We've got a lot planned over there. We're gonna have the outpost tour. We're gonna use the property over in Usk, Washington as the base for our outpost tour. You really wanna consider coming on this tour. We've got a lot planned, everything from gardening to practical trades and skills. We're gonna do woodworking. For the ladies, we'll probably have things like canning, drying, freezing, as well as cooking demos, as well as horseback riding. We've got this really fun activity for the young people, the zip line. The zip line is amazing. And I'm gonna go over right now and we're gonna kind of test it out to see how it would work for myself and maybe how we can make it an activity for both the young and the adults. I'm here right now with Anthony.
Yep.
Anthony Menez. We're gonna ride the zip line. You see that tree house over there? See that tree house behind me? We're going over there. Yes, we're going over there right now. And Anthony's gonna be the first one. If he falls, we're all going in the house, okay? But if he doesn't, if he makes it successfully, then I'll follow behind him. All right, so we're gonna watch him. Go ahead. Cool. Cool. All right, so I am here in a real treehouse, friends. I mean, this is a real treehouse. Let me show you around. Look at this. A real treehouse, folks. Look at this. Look at this. Woo-wee, look at that down there. Wow.
Sit down. There you go. I'm not worried.
Go!
Ah, that was fun.
Homestead days. She is climbing the tree. This is reminiscing of the coconut trees in the Philippines.
Never climbed a coconut tree.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Okay.
If I had one of these, I'd definitely climb a coconut tree.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. That's impressive. I've never seen one like that.
Scales, those scaly rings on a coconut tree, do they point up or down?
Down.
Oh, okay, so there's no...
So we're here right now feeding the horse. She's teaching me actually how to do it. And I am thoroughly impressed because she's doing a good job. Watch this. Whoa, he's hungry. He likes that. Look at that. He's a big guy. What's his name?
Andy.
Andy. Hey, Andy. I want to share with you the importance of having the good old trusted wood stove for heating your cabin or your house or anything that you are living in. You cannot beat a nice, good, solid wood stove. Very efficient as far as burning wood, as far as heating a house, as far as even cooking. You can do all of that on a wood stove. But there are some things that you want to know before you cook on the wood stove. The first thing is obviously you want to make sure that the stove is in good working order. You can check it out around the flue here. Make sure that it's nice and sealed correctly. There are certain penetration points that are actually used to manufacture this flue that allow for the screws and all of the fasteners to connect one piece of metal to the next piece. Make sure that they're in good working condition, that they're sealed properly, and just make sure everything is covered correctly because you don't want any smoke or any soot or anything like that getting into your house. It can be very dangerous. It can be very life-threatening in some cases. Next thing is you want to make sure that you have a kettle of water on top of your wood stove. The reason why you want to have a kettle of water on top of your stove is because, well, when you burn wood inside of a house, it depletes the air inside the house of any oxygen. So burning boiling water on top of the wood stove just helps to replenish air molecules so that one doesn't get obviously drowsy from lack of oxygen in the air. And that happens a lot actually. You will find that people who neglect to have a good kettle on the stove with water, make sure it's full of water, they actually can cause harm to themselves and their family. You see this gasket around the door here? You want to make sure that that gasket is not only in good working order, but you want to make sure that that gasket is actually sealable, that it's actually functioning correctly. This is a fireproof type sealant or gasket that goes around the door. It helps to seal it airtight. Pretty much, if it's working well, it'll seal it correctly. And you can see when I close the door here, you can see that it actually seals pretty well. So just make sure that that's working correctly. Make sure that you don't have any combustible material within close proximity to the stove. The code actually says it only a foot. Some other areas, they say only 18 inches. So check your local building department for further details on that matter. And then finally, not only do you want wood, but you need a good kindling source. Right here we are using special kindling composite material here, and this is a very, very dense, sort of like a cardboard type composite. It's actually wood composite is basically what it is, and it burns very, very hot. And then lastly, of course, you need good wood. Make sure your wood is seasoned. Make sure it's ready to burn. It's not freshly cut or green, wet wood. Wet wood or green wood will not burn correctly. So make sure it's nice and seasoned and dry. And it's always a good idea to bring it inside and set a portion of it beside the stove and have another portion of it outside of the house. Just in the event that, you know, fire doesn't break out or something happens. It's always good to have the wood stacked outside that you're not using. All right, at this time, I'm going to go ahead and show you how to set up the stove with kindling. All right. Another thing you want to do when you are burning wood and you're actually getting your wood stove ready for the wood, to install the wood, always do a visual check of this fire block. This is what we call fire block, and you can see it's lined around the stove here, only up a certain height, right about here, and in the back, and all the way on this side as well. This fire block is good for obviously preventing the metal or the iron from getting too hot, and it's also good to contain the fire inside this fire block. So just visually check it, make sure that there are no cracks, make sure that none of the blocks are missing, make sure that everything is pretty much in good working condition, as you see here, and then try as much as possible to get all of the ash out. You don't have to get it out, you know, it doesn't have to be perfect per se, but just make sure that you get all of the residual ash out of the stove. Let's go ahead and stack our kindling. All right, so in order to stack our kindling, I just usually go ahead and just put it in. There's no perfect way or imperfect way of putting it in. Just make sure that you get all of the kindling down at the bottom. As you can see here, I usually put it like so, and then I'll take the fire starter, which in this case we're using this type of fire starter. It's a composite material. Again, this composite material just burns very, very hot. The flame is very large, as you will see in a minute, and usually a wood stove this size, I'll only stack 1 or 2 pieces in to kind of get it started. Again, you want your kindling to kind of be as large as, say, this size here. You can see that way, you know, once it gets started, it won't burn out quickly. All right, and then I'll go ahead and I'll stack in 1 block here. You can see, and I'll make sure that I get it on top of the kindling. Make sure I've got the fire starter exposed. This again is the fire starter. So just make sure you've got it exposed where you can strike it with a match. And I've got 2 pieces here, so it's going to burn pretty fast, pretty quick. And again, the flames from this fire starter gets pretty big, pretty fast. You'll see in a minute. Once you see it started, then you want to move over quickly to the other side and try to get that other fire starter. If for whatever reasons you're unable to get it, then obviously striking another match off of the existing would be the best option at this point. Get that fire starter going, and once you get it going, you want to drop that match, because again, as I said earlier, it's gonna ignite and burn pretty big, pretty fast. So you can see that fire starter is definitely catching, and in a minute it's going to catch that kindling. All right, so yeah. Alright, there you go. It doesn't take long at all for it to catch.